Of course, we've been following the trend of events as it relates to our situation, the SDP, specifically the judgment of the Supreme Court. I want to start by welcoming the new CJN, Justice Kudirat, at the very difficult times to preside over the justice system in Nigeria. We believe strongly within the political cycles and other cycles that she's a woman of integrity. She has proven over times, over decades, that she's fearless. She deals with facts available to her without fear or favor. On those grounds, we are welcoming her on these hot seats, and we do hope and pray that as a mother that's presiding over an institution that deals with morality, justice, fairness, and equity, that we shall invest everything to leave a legacy behind and ensure the justice system she has inherited is reformed, as acknowledged by her when she was sworn in by the President and Commander-in-Chief. She acknowledged the challenges in the judiciary, and she promised to do everything humanly possible to reform what she met on the ground. On this note, we are adding our voice to strongly advise her to do all that is humanly possible and reform the corruption in the judiciary. We know that we have some of the best judges in Nigeria. We actually have some of the very worst judges the nation have recorded in recent history. On this note, we are praying for her as a party, as citizens, that she will have a very successful tenure, devoid of taking sides, to define the new judiciary under her leadership. Number two, we're here to respond to the judgment of the Supreme Court. It is said all over the place that after Supreme Court, the next is God. We know that. There's no dispute around that. But I want to draw the attention of the CJN once again. It is not the judgment that is very alarming alone, but the way and the manner our candidate was attacked in the Supreme Court. That was the headline of all the media stations within and outside Nigeria, desecrating the hollow chamber of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. It is unbecoming of the third arm of government, the judiciary, that is saddled with responsibility of restoring normalcy, decency, and morality. We call on Justice Kudirat to commence immediate investigation of what happened. There are CCTV cameras covering the entire Supreme Court. They should find those responsible for instigating desecration of the hollow chamber of Supreme Court of Nigeria. We find it very disturbing. We find it very disrespectful, which means that nobody is safe. If somebody will be attacked in a court, that he has a case, and he went there for the purpose of that case, he will be attacked openly, glaringly. And so far, we have not had any case of arrest. It's called for concern. So we are calling for the CJN, we are appealing to her to commence immediate investigation over what happened and ensure that those found responsible, their footages have been captured, are brought to book, so that to restore the image and the dignity, not just the Supreme Court, but the entire courts of Nigeria. So the judgment did not really come to us as a surprise, because following the tribunal sitting and the behaviors, the characteristics associated to the tribunal and the judgment, and then the Court of Appeal, the drama that ensued throughout the processes that led us to go to the Supreme Court, hoping that we have complied with the Supreme Court requirement in relation to the presidential judgment of the Supreme Court of presidential candidate of PDP, Atiku Abubakar. Recently, the one of Nasarawa, the one of Bayelsa State. I think there is none that complied with the Supreme Court's judgment like we did in SDP. INEC can attest to the fact that we followed the entire process. We went through the entire Beaver system. We recorded it as recommended or as delivered by the Supreme Court. So to our greatest surprise, all those things were set aside, which means by implication, the Supreme Court have reversed themselves, or the guidelines they have given in terms of inspection of beavers, in terms of accreditations, and so on and so forth. Now, that brings to my mind exactly where we are heading to as a nation that accepted a democratic norms and values which deal with the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Through the process of election, ballot paper, you cast your votes. And then the institution recognized by law to conduct this election is INEC. After going through the entire process, and after the results have been announced, now you are saddled with the responsibility of dealing with the judiciary, which in every ramification is being defined as the last hope of a common man. We believe strongly it is no longer same. It is no longer the hope of a common man. It is a place where the rich have unfettered restriction. So on this note, we reject that judgment, but we have nowhere to go. The only place we have reported is to God Almighty, which all of us we are subject to. God created all of us, both we, the politicians, the judges, the security agencies. God is the final arbiter. God knows that we put in our best. A lot of people lost their life. People were killed in the process. We thought that the judiciary would be extremely very sensitive in looking into these issues, why people lost their life, parents were grieved, and make sure that justice is being done to the entire process. It's not just for SDP, it's for the nation. What is going on has nothing to do with our just interest as SDP, but the stability of Nigeria, the peace of Nigeria. Because part of the problem we are having today is the lack of justice system. So people are taking laws into their own hands. And this will lead to a lot of voters' apathy. You can see the total vote that produced the president is about 8-something million. Look at the vote that produced former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, put them together. And take the total number of registered voters in Nigeria, over 100 million registered voters. Now, we are going down as a nation that is practicing democracy, that allow franchise, for people to cast their votes, which means with this judgment and the upcoming election in Ondo and Edo states, you are likely to see a very, very low turnout. People are losing hope, people are losing confidence. One of the most remarkable things that the judiciary have to deal with is this judgment of Kogi states. It will haunt the system for a very, very long time. I cannot imagine in a system that is well established, well organized, where 3 local governments can cancel 9 local governments, where the INEC themselves admitted that their sensitive materials have leaked, and they issued 2 press releases that they are going to take action on those 3 local governments. No action was taken because some high-profile people decided to subdue INEC instead of allowing INEC to do their job. This is where we are today, and this is the price we are paying. People have no confidence in the electoral process. People are losing confidence in the judicial process, and this will lead to anarchy. So I'm calling on the President and Commander-in-Chief to step up and live up to his own responsibility, ensure the safety of Nigerians. Of recent, we lost 2 Obas in the Ekiti State. Not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, we lost an emir in Sokoto State. These are high-profile people. Nobody is mentioning ordinary people that are in captivity for months, and the president is aware. And the good thing about those that are around the president and the president, they went to exile before, all of them. They know the complications. And we're happy that some changes have been made in the NIA and DGSSS. We hope that it's for good, but if what we are hearing is anything to go by, there's an attempt to hunt people who disagree with this government. I want to advise the president to be extremely very cautious. The fragility of Nigeria, nobody should dare to hunt or crack people for airing their views. They should find a way to manage the diversity of Nigeria. They should find a way to manage the fragile economy that we are going through, the hunger, the frustration that have enveloped this country. Any attempt to hunt on people for airing their views or their opposition to wrong policies of government, it will be disastrous. I would advise them to be civilized in engaging the citizens, engaging issues, to ensure that we have peace and stability, and so on and so forth. SDP is not against this government. The president knows that we are not against him. I've always said this. We will not be part of pulling down the roof of this government, but we will add value to the stability of this government, to the credibility of this government. If they so wish, they should take our advice. If they so wish, they should throw it to the dustbin. But we will play our role as an institution, as an opposition party that is adding value, not just criticism, but also providing solution. So I want to thank you for coming, just to register our serious concern, and I will give space to the candidate to also tell you his own experience. As if we are in a foreign land, somebody will be attacked in the hollow chamber of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Your Excellency, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, gentlemen of the press. As our national chairman has spoken, I don't have much to say, but all I want to say here is Nigeria is on our way to Mogadishu. If we allow this to continue, democracy is all about people and the people's right to vote. We were made to believe that the election is going to be transparent and free for all. But what came out of it is what you all know. But I don't have much to say now. I'm still investigating what led to that attack on my person at the Supreme Court. We are waiting. We've written them officially, because if we cannot get protection from the Supreme Court, where else do we have protection in Nigeria? So like the chairman said, we are not against the federal government. I'm not against the federal government. In my home state, there's no individual that work more than I do to ensure the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. None. So I believe in the administration. Though there are some things that are going on that are not okay now, we hope with time things will be okay. But those around the president, they must work to see that Nigerians succeed. Because if they allow the president to fail, it is the president that will be held accountable. So, like the chairman has spoken, we are waiting to see the certified copy of the judgment. Thereafter, we will pass our judgment. But as things stand now, Nigeria, we are in deep crisis. Let's not deceive ourselves. There is no security anywhere. Just on Sunday, when we wake up in the morning, we saw a crowd in Wuse here, killing 2 policemen, killing a young man in the process. Up till now, nobody has explained to us what led to that. And we condemn that in entirety. If our law enforcement agencies keep attacking them, nobody is saving the country.
Secondly, I will still see you coming out again as the candidate of SDP in the next Kogi State governorship election. My name is Funke Ogunlode.
Well, thank you very much. It's too early to respond whether I'm coming out to contest again or not. On the issue of the statement from the state government, the attack on my person was orchestrated by the Commissioner for Solid Mineral, Engineer Bashir Gegu, who is part of them. So all they are saying, they are just playing to the gallery. The attack was organized and coordinated by the state government. So I'm looking forward to see the action of the federal government.
But you said earlier, sorry to cut you in, you said earlier that the investigation is ongoing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's not yet out. So we have written formally to the Supreme Court. Let them, because it happened at their premises in the chamber of the Supreme Court. So this statement they have made now just to try to divert their attention from what they have done, and we hope that the Supreme Court will take this seriously. Not that we don't have people to respond if we tend to do so. We have men that can respond to them. They don't have monopoly of violence. But what we want is peace. We want peace in this country. We want this democracy to survive. But for it to survive, every right must be respected.
Finally, sir, I don't know what to say. It's disappointing, actually. Do you still have confidence on the judiciary and, of course, the electoral system?
I must say from the bottom of my mind, from my heart, the former CJN, he has done more harm to the judiciary than good. So we hope the new person there, the Justice Kudurat Kekereoku, will turn the leaf around. What the man that was there did to the Nigerian judiciary, I don't think we'll get out of in the next 20, 30 years. That's the truth.
Thank you.
Let me remind you, this is the same man who nominated his own cousins' children as the justices of the courts. That is how we personalize institutions of Nigeria. In furtherance to what he has said, it's not about apology from the states. It's about desecration. It's about the attack on somebody who complained to an institution to come to his rescue. He went there thinking that that is the safest place, and he was attacked. They virtually lynched him. He had to escape. I don't know if you have seen how his drivers were able to take him out. They would have probably killed him, because the intention of that attack was very horrible, was quite intentional, was quite violent. No decent leader will direct his own supporters to do that. Look, these are street behaviors. Rascality is not an inbuilt, it's a street thing. Anybody can pick it and use it. Politicians can explain that better. I can pick street behavior and use it and dump it. Nobody has monopoly of violence. The balancing of terror is in we, the politician, if we want to do it. But for the sake of the nation, we don't want to engage in that. This man was targeted for assassination. You have the record. His car was raided with bullets. His life was threatened severally in Kogi. INEC office was threatened to be burnt in Kogi. The materials were to be burnt. We fought all through to get those materials from Kogi down to Abuja. We fought all through to transfer the tribunal from Kogi to Abuja. The secretary of the tribunal was abducted. What are we talking about? Who is deceiving who? Who is deceiving who? And the president can sit down as the president and commander-in-chief to allow this thing to be happening because of some targeted interest. Does that interest mean well for him? The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that I know, at his age, that is leaving legacy behind, that is leaving Nigeria well reformed, under his tenure, this kind of situation will never happen. I can vouch under President Olusegun Obasanjo, because there was an attempt. He crushed it. It will never happen under General Babangida. It will never happen under Abacha. It will never happen under them. Leadership is about decisiveness. If you are not decisive, get out. Kitchen is meant to be hot. If you can't stand the heat, you get out. Nigeria cannot take further deterioration, abuse of personalities, dehumanizing them, because people are in power. We produce half-baked, and it's costing everybody. Virtually everywhere half-baked were produced to lead sensitive institutions that is bringing Nigeria to its knees. No nation can stand this act of barbarism, insecurity, disrespect to its own citizens. There is no leader that can stand that. I'm appealing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, being elected, to stand very, very firmly. You have service chiefs. You have commissioner of police in the states. You have director SSS. You have AIGs. You have DIGs. You have brigade commandants. A major crime will happen in the states. They will still be sitting there, and the service chief will still be there. People will be kidnapped and killed. The commander-in-chief is sitting and is allowing them without any major action, because it's not enough. If they have done sufficiently, this thing would have been reduced drastically. It happens every day. If somebody like him, who ran for an election went to court for justice to listen to the judgment on either whether it will be good or bad, and then get attacked in the hollow chamber, then I'm sorry. That's why I pray for Justice Kudira Kekere to stand very firmly, to restore the dignity of the judiciary, and for the president to bring a major reform in the judiciary. Some few judges have brought this country to its knees. The reputation of Nigeria have gone down. It's still in our archives that Nigeria have produced some of the best judges that have presided over affairs both within, locally and internationally. Why are we going down? Why would the president sit down and allow this to continue to happen? Why would the National Assembly that was elected with an oversight function to allow this act of barbarism to continue to happen? This is very bad. This is very sad. The Electoral Act must be reformed. Otherwise, there's no need to continue to have election in Nigeria. And INEC, that was the chairman that was nominated by presidency, commissioners nominated by presidency, resident electoral commission nominated by presidency, the entire process by the executive, and you think that you will have free and fair election, is not possible. So if we want to reform the electoral process, we must have a body that is independent, not being funded by the executive, determined by executive, influenced by executive. Then why are we having political parties? We can have one party system in the country, so there will be no opposition. Thank you very much. Any further?